Hey, John Lee here. So, some of you may have noticed that in the last couple of days, super mega self-improvement guru Tony Robbins has got himself in a little bit of hot water due to his comments about the Metoo movement. Basically, Tony Robbins said that Metoo women were trying to just gain self-empowerment through, I don't even know, it was weird, man. And then he ends up like physically bullying the lady by like pushing her back. It was bad. It was one of those things where when you hear the quotes, I personally know about 12 people who have worked with Tony Robbins, and I know one of his $1 million clients from years and years back. So I kind of already knew that he wasn't really who he portrays himself to be. But this was pretty shocking, and there were a couple of reasons why that I want to get into right now. Okay, so the first reason that this wasn't really surprising to me, and I'm in no way condoning his statements, like they were obviously stupid and he obviously doesn't understand it, and his people definitely tried to get ahead of the story before that apology came out. So the thing you have to understand, having worked in the self-improvement world and having a lot of friends who currently work in it, is that self-improvement is a world of privilege. It is mostly a world of white, upper middle class, and wealthy men and women who believe that they can do anything. You're constantly reaffirmed that you can do anything, that fear is an illusion, that you just have to do it and make it happen, and you have the power to do anything. Even Tony Robbins is unleash the power within, right? It's all about this idea that you are special and that you are worthy and you are better, right? It's all about kind of the superhuman and the subhuman, right? Like if you think about the psychology of self-help, it's the superhuman and the subhuman, right? Like right now you're subhuman. Have you ever felt lonely, depressed, less than human, alone, right? Well, I can turn you into the superhuman, right? It's this ego and constant kind of revolving of mania between kind of super intense confidence and really bad self-loathing. And I was stuck in that for years. It's a very common thing that people get stuck in, but it comes from privilege. It comes from believing that you deserve better. Right? That's kind of the root of self-help. You deserve better. When really, do you deserve better? Maybe, but you know, a lot of people have it a lot worse, and especially the people who are already wealthy enough to afford $3,000 weekend courses and $30,000 wealth universities already have it pretty good. The other area where Tony Robbins fucked up, and this one's pretty bad, is the physical bullying. Tony Robbins is a giant. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8", and the woman who stood up to him and was kind of trying to defend the Me Too movement was fairly small. And he was like, well, you'll see what happens when you push back. We push back, men. And he like pushes her back. And I mean, it wasn't violent, but that is a bad image, man, especially for this time and place. And he also was trying to physically intimidate her, right? Like he was using his size and his strength to try to intimidate this woman and keep her from speaking up, which also not a good look. Like I said before, this was one of those things where you read about it happening and were like, you saw the video and it became 100 times worse. And that is often the case, as it was with the incident with the running back, whose name I'm forgetting right now, in Baltimore. And also with, you know, a lot of these domestic abuse things with, what's his name, the Carolina Panthers star, Greg Hardy. Nobody believed him until they saw the pictures. This video stuff is important for the Me Too movement, and I'm the last person who should be talking about the Me Too movement because I was a dating coach for years and have probably said some pretty objectionable things myself when I was like 22, 23 years old. But the physical stuff is the stuff that women are not believed on, right? I think one of the big things in the Me Too movement, and also with Black Lives Matter, is that as white men and as kind of the heteronormative norm in America, we have to start believing people when they say these things are happening, right? And so the videos are really good because they can say, oh yeah, he physically intimidated her or he pushed her back, and you go, okay, that's weird. Then you see the video and you go, holy shit, that's bad. That's a bad look, Tony. So video is important for all of this stuff because it forces people to believe. I think Martin Luther King said that it wasn't until television that people actually believed that some of these things were happening to African Americans in the 60s, and it shamed them into behaving better. And videos like this Tony Robbins thing should shame self-help gurus into behaving better.